Hey, Churchill Streaks. Here we are, Mr. Hawkins and Mr. Lingelfelder on Tuesday, October 20th. Mr. Hawkins, do you have any birthdays to celebrate for today?
Yes, I do, Mr. Lingelfelder. We have quite a few birthdays because we had a 3-day weekend and also some birthdays for today. But going back to Saturday, the 17th of October, happy birthday to Colby. On Sunday, we had 4 birthdays. We had Caleb, Carter, Caleb again, and Kayla. And then on Monday, we had 4 birthdays. Diamond, Jeremiah, Lamaya, and Brian. Okay, that was for Monday. And for today, on Tuesday, we have a couple of birthdays. We have Carter and Hannah. Back to you, Mr. Lingelfelder.
Hey, boys and girls, we're going to celebrate some streaks. I'm going to share my screen real quick here so everybody is reminded of what it takes to be a streak. And I think Mr. Hawkins has some special celebrations to do as well when I'm done. These celebrations come from science. It was 8th grade science day late last week, and Mrs. Moore and Mr. Carpenter both want to celebrate several students. These students are doing a variety of things. They're highly responsible. They're turning in high quality work. Some of the best students that they've seen in science. Another student just is constantly helping the teacher and reminding the teacher and goes out of their way to make sure the teacher knows if they're going to be gone or has something else going on. Attending all meets and just top-notch work. And some of these students even have just a contagious love for science. Some of those students are Asher Whitcomb, Brandon Brewington, Emma DeChow, Evan Dombrowski, and Max Calloway. Also, a huge shout out to Period 8 Science class. Mrs. Moore says that Period 8 Science class is doing an incredible job of turning in those Ed Puzzle assignments all year long. They have very, very few missing assignments in all those Ed Puzzles that you've been doing. And so big shout out to Period 8 Science. Mr. Hawkins, do you have a few celebrations to have?
Yes, I do. I have some celebrations of some students that are taking it the extra step and competing. All right. So for band, Mr. Matthew says we had 3 students from the 7th and 8th grade bands at Churchill enter the All-State for Music competition. It's called the ILMEA. And the following students took their own initiative and learned and perfected the audition materials. They were Alice Green for trombone, Sophia Jones Rhodes for baritone, and Mohammed Shahada for trumpet. All right. So then we also had Mr. Pector that recommended these students for choir. The following students in the 7th grade: Caroline Baxter, Emma Boughton, Jillian Nicholas, Olivia Mason, and Sophia McGuinn. And in 8th grade, we had Abigail Malcolm, Ava Ritchie, Isabella Olignia Still, Kamara Jackson, and Lamaya Somerville. So congratulations to those students, and hopefully our band and choir students will hear some good news in the future. Mr. Lingelfelder, you have your SEL information?
I do. Just want to, before I move to that, big shout out to all those students. It's always amazing going to choir and band concerts here in our district. We have some very talented students, and thankful to the teachers that push those students to become better. This week's SEL goes along with the letters over my shoulder. You'll see those letters ETDMTYS. Those letters do stand for something, and I might come back to that sometime, students. What do you think ETDMTYS stands for? They do go along with this week's Sweet 360 lesson. The Sweet 360 lesson this week all focuses on long-term goal setting. And I know one thing that I know about goal setting going into the lessons is that short-term goals lead to long-term success. And so I'm curious what you find out as far as goal setting goes as a 7th and 8th grader. Real handy lesson, it sounds like, in Sweet 360 this week. Look forward to seeing how many of you complete that lesson. Mr. Hawkins, I want a joke for today.
Hey, you know what? It's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays we have a new time. It's called Jokey Joke Time with Mrs. Moore. And these jokes are submitted by Mrs. Moore. And the joke is, if you guys are all ready, why did the math book look so sad? Why did the math book look so sad?
Mr. Hawkins, you know why that math book was so sad. That math book has a bunch of problems.
There you go. I'll tell you what, Mr. Lingenfelder's on his game as usual. That's right. That math book has too many problems in it, and that's why it's always sad. So, hey, that's all we have for announcements today. Mr. Lingenfelder, anything before we hop off here?
No, let's have a great week. We have 9 days left. Of course, there was no student attendance. Teachers were learning today. 9 days left till the end of the quarter. Finish strong, students. Do what you can do to maximize those grades here in the last 9 days.
That's right. You guys didn't have school today, but our teachers did. And as always, it's a great day to be a streak.